Hello everyone, this is James Shore with another test-driven JavaScript video. I'm recording this on October 4th, 2012, picking up right where we left off in the last episode. And what we've been doing is getting our client-side infrastructure in place, and it's looking pretty sweet. We have all these browsers running and the ability to test them and lint the client-side code and the server-side code and do all the server-side testing all with one command. And the only thing we have left to do is to make sure that all the browsers were actually tested. So IE8, IE9, and so forth, so that if for some reason we've turned off one of the browsers like that, then we get an appropriate failure. So let's go ahead and finish that up. So the way we're going to do that is in our Jake file, we are going to, after the test runs, we're going to look at the output of the test. And we're just going to make sure that each of these lines is in here. So that's pretty easy to do, I hope. Let's see if I can remember how regexes work in JavaScript. It is there. It's the regex has a test method on it. So we can say ABC test ABC. That will work. ABCD will work, but just AB will not work. Perfect. So we need to say our regex is going to be, I guess it's going to, I was going to say we want to compose that programmatically in a way. Or do we? Let's see. So we just want to check to see if this is in there. If there are any lines that start with what the name of the browser we're looking for, followed by a colon, followed by executed. So we can do this pretty easily looking for just IE8. We can say IE 8.8.0 executed. And we're going to need to see that at the beginning of the line, or really anywhere in there. And we're going to test that against the output. And then if it passed, then we're good. And otherwise, we're going to fail. So that's the general idea. So that worked. And then if we turn off IE8, it should fail. But it's not. Oh, it's because I turned off the browser without restarting Testacular. So it was waiting for it indefinitely. There. So there's our IE8 was not tested. And then we can fail like that. Okay, so that's what we want to do, but this is actually not quite the right way to do it. And because I do want to get to some other stuff, I am going to go ahead and research this offline and get back to you in a moment. Okay, I'm back. I think the simplest way to do this would just be to do an index of. So let's say output.index of, and then see, search string is going to be the browser name plus quote executed. And we're going to look for this search string. And if that's not -1, it was found. And then here we can say if found, console log OK. So that should work. Except we got a lint error. Okay, so there, it's saying IE8 was not tested. And if we turn IE8 back on, it worked. Great. So now let's just, rather than outputting anything, we'll say that IE8 should be tested. Perfect. And now what we can do is create an array of things that we want to test. So we want to test IE8, but we also want to test IE9. And then we can loop through that array like this by saying supported browsers for each, then passing a function that takes the browser and asserts the browser is tested. Like that. I hope that works. Looks good. And actually, let's go ahead just for convenience for now. We'll say confirmed the browser name. So we should see IE8 and IE9 in there. Good. Now, let's just go ahead and ramp this up to all the browsers we want to support. There it is. And let's toss that at the top up here. So the supported browsers are IE8, IE9, Firefox 15, Chrome 22, Safari 6.0, and Safari 5.1. That's iOS. Boom, done. So, and if we take any of those out for any reason, we should get an error. Oh, except it says IE8. Let's put the correct name in there. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Of course, if we have two not tested, it will fail after the first one, but I think I'm okay with that. The other option would be to just return a variable saying whether or not it was right, but it's okay. It's okay. Now, offline, I think what I'm going to do is implement a strict, like I have for Node, the Node version. If you do strict.true, it requires that you're using the exact Node version. I might do something similar for these browsers so you guys can run this script without it actually requiring all these browsers to be present, and maybe I'll output a warning or something like that. But that's not part of how we do this for a real project. I would just be really strict about requiring that in development you test all the browsers you support. So I'm not going to, that's what I'm going to do on camera, and I'll do the strict stuff off camera. So now we confirm that we're testing against all of our browsers. The next thing I have to do is to move testacular.conf to another location. Let me go ahead and check this into Git. Yeah, let's see if we can move that testacular.conf to a new location. The way we do that, I think we can actually pass it on the command line. Let's move it to our build directory and then see. It looks like the configurations happens in start. So if we say testacular build testacular.conf.js start, doesn't work. Oh, I think the start has to come first. Yeah. And then this just keeps working the same way. Good. So to move that, I could just modify this to be testacular, to pass that in. But actually what I think I want to do is I think I want to modify the Jake file to have a testacular start in here. So we'll say start testacular server for testing, then task testacular, and then we'll just shell out to testacular in the same way we're doing down here. If I can find it. This file's getting a bit big. So we'll start it and pass in testacular.conf.js. And then we don't need to do anything with that. We can just have that complete. Okay. So I think now that will work. I think I can say Jake testacular. There we go. And then over here I can say Jake. And it's hanging because when it started, it loaded up multiple copies of IE9. IE does seem to have some trouble with testacular, but other than that, everything seems to be working okay. So now we run it. It's all working except we're getting 0 out of 0 successes. What is happening there? I guess we also need to check to see if when we're running this, we need to check the output for total 0 success. And if that doesn't equal -1, then we need to fail. Client tests did not run. Because that's just wrong. That's better. I like my build scripts to be screamingly obvious. You've probably noticed by now that when I run the build, I just run it, I glance at it to get the quickest glance of did it pass or did it fail, and if it passed, I move on. I don't want to take time to look at it because I'm running this build all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, figure this out, and then be back because I'd like to finish this up in this episode. We are pretty much done. We just need to fix that last little thing. Okay, I'm back. Because I moved testacular down a level, the configuration file, now the base path needs to go up a level. I had to restart testacular, which I've already done, and now if I do that, you can see that it all works. We have 6 successes. So it would probably be good to make sure that we have the same number of test executions on each of these, but we are out of time in this episode, and I really want to move on to something else. So I'm going to add that to future ideas to say, ensure that every browser has same number of tests running. And let's see, we also want to unify our test location configuration, but actually we don't want to do that because this isn't just the test that we're passing over here. It's actually all of our JavaScript files because our production code has to be sent over as well. So actually I think this is going to be okay. So let's clean this up. And that's that. So we've now finished setting up client-side testing. That does it for our current task. Next time, we're going to start a brand new chapter. We're going to start testing, doing testing against our client code. So we're going to start developing our client code with test-driven development. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.